Hi everyone, it's Allison Bischoff here, and I am the head of school partnerships at Razi Learning Company. I'm going to tell you all about how to log in and use our program, STEM Career Adventures. So you've all received an email with me to the links to log on to STEM Career Adventures. When you click one of those links, it will come up with the program that you have access to, either elementary school or middle school. If you are getting access to both, hang on and we'll get to that. So if you pull up elementary school, you'll see Get Access to Program. All you need to do is click, and it will take you to the sign up page. All you have to do is put in your name and email and make a password. Once you do that, it will take you to this thank you screen that says you've been enrolled into the program. Then you can click Continue to Course, and if it's elementary school, you will first be taken to the kindergarten to second grade lessons. As you see at the top, there's a part on how to get started with the program, and then as you scroll down, you'll see all of the different themes or topics that we have, as well as the lessons. If you click on one of the lessons, it will take you to all of the instructional materials for that lesson. And we'll get back to those in just 1 second. So when you're at this page, if you want to see the 3rd to 5th grade lessons, you can click Included Programs, and you'll see the 3 to 5 lessons, or come up here to the top left hand of your screen, click that back arrow, and then on the right hand side, click My Programs. And you'll see that you have access to the kindergarten through 5th grade, or you'll see the middle school. If you are one of those teachers that's lucky enough to have access to both kindergarten through 8th grade, before you log in to the middle school level, you must log out before creating a login for middle school. This is a glitch in the system, and it's something we're working on. So click Log Out, and then type in the link for middle school, or click on the middle school link that you were given. So now I'm here at the middle school level after I've already logged out. So I'm going to click View Middle School Lessons. And then it's going to take me to this sign up page. But because you've already made a login, scroll down a little bit and you'll see this Log In with a School Account. Click that, and then it should bring up your credentials that you just created, or type in the ones you just made. So then you can click Login, and you'll now have access to the middle school program. So the only thing you need to remember there is that you need to log out before logging back in for middle school. So when you click out and go to My Programs, you'll see that you have access to elementary and middle school lessons. So now let's go and look at what is inside the portal. Whether you're in elementary or middle school, the first thing you'll see is a link on how to decide what you're using this program for. Most schools use the program as an enrichment or elective, or an after-school program. But some schools do use us to supplement their science class. Most lessons are between 20 to 30 minutes and 45 minutes to an hour. So it can be in your science class, but a lot of schools do use it as a once-a-week elective or an after-school program. Any way you want to use it works for us. Then if you go over here to the left, you'll see Step 2. Check out your planning guides. This is a way for you to see what are the topics or themes and the lessons that go within that, so that you can plan your year accordingly. You can see the theme guide here when it pops up, or you can also download it down here. So if we click to download, you'll see here is the theme-based planning guide for the K-2 lessons. And we have it broken up into months and 4 lessons per month. You do not have to do it in this order. This is just suggested. Some schools also do a career a month, or they align it to what other teachers or what their teachers are doing during the school year. If you're using it as an after-school program, you could make this into a 5-week session, doing a lesson about once a week, and then rotate the kids through that. All of these methods work perfectly. Then, if you go to step 3 came out of order. If you go to step 3, you'll see the general supplies and materials list. Here are suggested materials to have for each of the lessons. So most lessons require just common art and building supplies, and then some have more specific experiment supplies. So take a look at the lesson list before you implement the lessons, but these are the general materials that most lessons require. You can also feel free to get other types of materials rather than these. Kids love having different types of materials to work with. And then if you go to step 4, you'll also see you can register for one of our webinars. We offer webinars on a weekly basis, and these last between 20 to 30 minutes. So now let's dive into what an actual lesson looks like. So we're going to start with engineers building strong homes. So at the top you'll see you can download all of the instructional materials for a lesson. This is if you want to download the handouts, the printable visual aids, all of the brainstorm pages, and the lesson plan at once. You can also view the lesson in its separate parts. So as you'll see, here is a lesson plan, and you can download just the lesson plan here. You scroll down and see the discovery page or brainstorm pages, etc. You can also show these up on a smartboard, especially some lessons do have videos. This one doesn't, but they do have videos, and you can show those up on a smartboard as well. So let's take a look at a lesson so you can see an example of that. So this lesson is As Hard as a Coconut, Building Strong Homes. So this lesson is all about how engineers get inspiration from the world around them to build their inventions. At the top of every lesson is an introduction to the career, and then you'll see an adventure description. This description you can read aloud to the kids so that they know what they're going to be working on. Then as you scroll down, you'll see the different activities. Some lessons are listed in steps, and then some are more like this. There are also several activities within some lessons, usually about 1 to 2 short activities, or it's a longer 1-part lesson. As you look through the activities, you'll see that we give suggested questions that you can ask. We also prompt you when to show something. So right here we say show discovery picture. So you can print these out for all of the kids, put them up on the wall or on a smartboard. We also like to give you friendly tips as the lessons go on. So this one says show other materials that can be used to build a house, like wood, concrete, or brick. And as you scroll down, you'll see the rest of the lesson, and then at the end, you'll see the materials list. Most of the time, the materials are open-ended, such as these, where you need weaker and stronger supplies. And then there are some lessons that do have very specific supplies, especially if it's an experiment. So now if we want to look at a more sophisticated lesson, we can go to the older kids. They're all very similar in how they're formatted. Just the older kids have a little bit more material and a little bit more that's being asked of them. So if I go to my programs at the top, I can go to a middle school lesson. And I am going to go to Designing Land Rovers. So in this lesson, you'll see that the lesson plan looks very similar to the kindergarten to 2nd grade lesson that I just showed you. But for this lesson, you'll see that it has a video to go with it, so an example of a Land Rover. And then you'll also see it has a few more handouts to go with it. So I am going to download the full lesson. So here I see that I have my adventure description just as before. And then with the older kids, we give a lot more background information for them. And then we'll see the steps to do the activities. We also put how many minutes suggested for this activity. And you'll see here, even with the middle schoolers, it's very simple supplies. But as we scroll down, you'll see that there are more handouts. So this one has a brainstorm page. And then it also has a Land Rover criteria. So for most of the middle school and some of the 3 to 5 lessons, the students will be asked to create a project within a certain criteria. So for this one, it has the criteria that the Land Rover needs to meet. And then for the middle school lessons, the kids need to give feedback to each other. So this is the prototype feedback form that the students would use to evaluate another student's project. So this is a great way for the kids to get constructive feedback from each other and learn that when you are a STEM professional, you have to work within what your client or what is being asked of you, and that you'll also be evaluated on that. So the lessons I've showed you are pretty typical lessons for our program. Like I said, they all take between about 20, 30 to 45, 60 minutes. If you don't have that much time, you can feel free to shorten the lessons, and we suggest doing that by taking out the design time. So instead of having the kids design on paper the Land Rover before they do it, they can just start building it. So it's a great way to keep your time down. We also suggest that before you start doing the program with the kids, that you remind them that everything they're going to be doing are things that real STEM professionals do. The students love knowing that what they're working on are things that can apply in the real world. It's also important to remind them that there are very few right or wrong answers in this program. It's very open-ended, and the students should really use their imaginations when coming up with their projects. And most of these lessons require a lot of collaboration, especially with the older kids. So remind the kids that they need to be giving constructive feedback and be respectful of the designs and ideas that their fellow students come up with. And most importantly, remind them that STEM professionals are constantly doing trial and error. So if something doesn't work out the first time, they should always go back and redo or rethink how their invention should work. So we always suggest at the end of a lesson to allow time for the students to rework some of their ideas and test it out again. Feel free to let us know if you have any questions or have trouble logging in to STEM Career Adventures. We're always here for you, and we're excited to see and hear about the projects your students do. Thank you.